What's up, everyone? I'm Rick,
And I'm Anna.
and today we continue our series of discussion on our year in Japan. We both spent a year in Japan a couple of years ago, and we lived there for around 11 months. Most of our time we spent in Tokyo, but we also traveled
Quite a lot.
all around the country. Yeah. Last time we talked about our time in Tokyo. This time we're talking about one of the trip we did to Kyoto.
Right.
So, first of all, I want to start like we always start with why were we in Kyoto?
So we just decided to
To
take
go
a
to
trip.
Kyoto. Yeah, exactly.
We just went on a trip.
We were in Japan. We decided to like go to Kansai, and the first stop in our Kansai trip was
in Kyoto.
Kyoto.
Right.
We got there by just a regular train.
Which, wow,
It
it's
took-
an adventure in
Yeah,
itself.
exactly. From Tokyo, it took like about 8 hours. You had to
Yeah, I think
switch
so.
so many times.
We switched, I think, like at least 5 trains. I
Yeah.
remember 5, maybe 6. I'm not sure. We got in Kyoto super late at night.
Yeah, and so like most of the stuff was closed.
Yeah.
Our hotel room was booked, but for
the next
day. And so what we did is that we found a manga cafe there, where you can actually spend the night in manga cafe and internet cafe because they're
Right.
open 24
You have
hours.
to leave before 6 a.m., I think.
Oh yeah, we had to
I
leave
remember
very early.
we had
Yeah,
to leave super early.
yeah.
So
Yeah, we spent the night there. Not the most comfortable place, but it does the job.
it's just like one room / bed. So you leave your shoes at the entrance, and when you get into the room, you actually get on the bed directly, or bed on the futon, like.
Yeah.
So that's all. Like your room is just a bed between 4 walls.
After that night, we woke up super early, like you said, and just started exploring the city, which is what we're going to get into in a minute. But just to give you a feel of what we were going for, we had 3 days and 3 nights, like counting the first night.
The first night, yes.
And we had planned on seeing like a few like stuff that we really wanted to go look at, like Kinkakuji and
Right,
the Imperial
Inari
Palace and stuff like
and-
that. Yeah, Inari. But a lot of the things we just like walked around and like went as we felt, like,
Right.
oh, this street looks nice and this street looks nice. Let's go that
here,
way.
let's go there.
And which is usually how we travel. We make a list of the top stuff that we want to see, and the rest of the time we're just
Yeah,
like,
and we leave some time for
to
just
just walk
discovering
around.
things.
And between spaces, we usually just walk around to.
Yeah,
like-
if it's walkable, then we'd usually
we
walk.
usually. Our hotel, which the second and third night we stayed there, was by Inari Shrine, which is gonna come in handy in one of the stories we're gonna tell you. But first, let's talk about one of the destination that we went to. Probably the most famous, one of the most famous destination in Kyoto.
I would say the
Palace.
second
Yeah.
most famous. The Imperial Palace, right. It was really beautiful. It was really like pretty much like visiting a park, but
Yeah.
you got the buildings, like the palace itself there.
Mhm.
But most of it is just visiting the park or the garden, actually, because it's the garden.
Yeah.
It's a very like traditionally decorated garden, like a Japanese garden with like you have all the small bridges, like the ponds, all of that stuff. It's really nice. It's really peaceful. You can only visit it with a guided tour.
Yeah, we booked a tour, and which I think actually helped because it was pretty interesting. Like they were telling us the
Yeah.
history of the place, and
Exactly.
what some of the building were used for.
Yes.
So
All of those.
it
All
adds
of the
up to
information.
it adds up to the experience to get that information. But yeah, I remember that after we finished with the palace, we were there in spring, like in March, and so afterward we just walked around. There was a park, and with
Right,
the
outside
beautiful
the palace.
the
yes.
sakura were in bloom before even Tokyo,
Yeah.
and so
they
it
were,
was like
right.
I think our first time seeing
The sakura.
the cherry
flowers,
blossom.
yes.
Yeah, so that was beautiful.
It was so
Yeah.
nice.
We walked a lot, like we said. We were walking around, and at some point we just stumbled upon a place that was renting
Kimonos.
kimonos and
yukata.
yukatas.
Right.
And
And you could dress up and just visit the...
yeah, you rent it for the day, and we did.
Yeah, we did. We dressed up.
Rest of that day, we were walking around.
Yeah, dressed.
And, yeah, dressed up. And not the best idea because we also had the shoe.
The shoes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. And then we went up on the mountain.
Harashiyama.
Yes, Arashiyama.
Yeah.
And
Wearing
it's
that,
not, it's not the most comfortable thing to do. Although Japanese people do it all the time.
Yeah.
But I think they're used to it.
We're not used to that, So you're climbing that mountain, trying to get away from those monkeys on Arashiyama.
Right.
And with the... Like
the
I remember
shoes that were really not the easiest to walk
on
in
the
for
steepest
us.
part of the climb. I was getting.
And we had to be careful not to get the clothes dirty.
Yeah, exactly.
It was an adventure, but
it was nice. And then you get on top of Arashiyama. Of course, you get that beautiful view of the city, and so it's worth it. We have some nice picture of us wearing the clothes,
right,
with the city behind us.
It's really nice.
And then we proceeded next to, not right next to it, but close to Arashiyama. There was the bamboo forest.
Oh, so, yes.
That's a very picturesque thing to do. We had those clothes and walking around the bamboo forest. You feel like you're in you jumped in a time capsule.
Right.
Yeah, so that was,
exactly. It does feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was really nice.
But of course, when you speak of Kyoto, you're talking about shrines and temples. Like a lot of people go there to visit some of the most beautiful temples they have in the whole country. I'm sure there are a lot of temples and shrines in Japan, but some of the most famous ones are in Kyoto. We visited a lot. We didn't visit all of them still.
Oh no, not even close.
We spent nearly all of our time visiting shrines and temples, and we were
not even visiting all the known ones.
Yeah, and we were not even close to having seen everything. Yeah, we're just gonna talk about 3 of them, the 3 that I think left the most impact and also might be the most known. But hey,
yeah, probably
they're the most known for a reason. Kinkakuji Temple.
Yes, I think we were lucky when we got to Kinkakuji Temple. It was actually kind of raining.
Mm-hmm.
So, but not really. It was just raining a little bit, then stopping, then a little bit, then stopping. So I think that weather kind of scared the tourists away. So it was really not that crowded.
Yeah.
Which was, mind you, there were still tourists around, just not as many as they normally would be, especially for the season.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we were really lucky.
Of course, Kinkakuji, for those who don't know, covered in gold, and
yes, all nice and shiny.
they replaced the gold covering pretty often to keep it pretty, and you can actually buy
the gold foil that they took off.
Exactly.
Yes.
And keep it in a little. So I have a souvenir from there actually. So it looks pretty much like that, huh?
Yeah, it's shiny like that too.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was a nice experience. Next one we went to, not the next one in order, but the next one we're going to talk about, Kyomizu-dera. Remember?
Oh, yes, I do. I think that even left a stronger impression on me than Kinkakuji. Because Kinkakuji, it's beautiful, but I've seen and heard about it so much that when I saw it, I was like, wow, it's amazing, but it's exactly what
you expected.
What I thought it would be.
What you saw online.
Right. Mm-hmm. But about Kiyomizu-dera, I really didn't know much. I knew that it had some really stunning view.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a temple built, I don't know exactly how it is built, but it looks like it's just hanging from a rock.
Yeah. And so the view, it's really one of the main reasons.
It's spectacular. And what's really interesting is that you can also walk around. Mm. It's kind of like a side of a mountain where the temple is. Mm. But you can also go on the other side of the mountain, in front of it, and see the temple in front of you. Yeah. So you just see it there hanging on that cliff with the forest below it, and it's just
really, the view was stunning.
Yeah, it's spectacular.
Only
It's
issue I would
amazing.
say is that like when we were there was some construction going on.
Yeah, there was.
And I think there still is. I was checking earlier, like online, like
Oh, really?
and it was saying like construction until 2020. I'm like, oh my god, this never ends, huh?
Okay.
But yeah,
Well, I'll assume that a temple built there will need a lot of
yeah, you need to.
maintenance.
Mhm. But it's too bad if it's the one time you go and it's under construction.
Yeah, I
But
guess that's
it
true.
was still like a stunning view and a stunning place to like recommend. And then my personal favorite, inARi Shrine. It's the one with all the torii, the gate, the big red orange gate that leads you all the way to the top.
Yeah, that you can go through them like through passages. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. They lead you all the way to the top of the mountain, and like it's just beautiful. Just the experience of walking through there.
Right, because basically you're going on a hike on a mountain. Like
Yeah.
the actual temple is on top of the mountain.
Mm.
So but there are other buildings like smaller temples all around.
At the bottom and on the way there too.
Right.
Mhm.
There are different pathways that you can go
Yeah.
to, like that you can take to the top. It's not just one way.
Yeah. But some of the other pathways don't have the gates.
The
though,
gates,
so.
right? But yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and you
It
get
is.
a wonderful view again of the city because you're hiking mountain.
Right.
And like we said earlier, our hotel was right by inARi Shrine, which allowed us to go back there a second time, but at night,
Yes.
and there's no one.
There's
There's
no one.
no one else,
Well,
and you just there
There were like
a few people, but
handful
like
of people,
compared to the
but-
morning, like it's night and day, and so like you're walking around and you feel like you have the place for yourself, and it's really I would recommend. And the nice thing about it is that like most of the other temples you have to pay. In inARi Shrine you don't.
Yeah, you don't have to pay. It's free.
It's free and it's worth it. Like just go. Mm. But yeah, the rest of our trip in Kyoto was like, apart from all the other temples and shrine that we didn't talk about, was just us walking in the street and enjoying the city. you know,
Right. Exactly.
the different neighborhoods. Of course, the most famous one, Gyeon. We walked around a lot in Gyeon. One thing that a lot of people might also be wondering, we went to Gyeon. Like, oh, you're in Kyoto, you must have seen geisha. Geisha, they're all around. I saw, but we didn't really see any geisha.
We saw one
Yeah, I
for
think-
like a split second.
Yeah, and so what people don't know is that they're avoiding you, the tourist, to go
Yeah.
there, trying to like catch a glimpse of a geisha or run after her. Like, don't do that. They're avoiding you. They don't like that. Mm.
They know how to avoid you. Like,
Yeah.
there are people, like I've heard people who said they've been in Kyoto for a long time, and they
Mhm.
said they know where to go to actually see them, the
Uh-huh.
geishas. But I guess you have to be there for long enough to actually know that.
Mhm. But yeah, they know where the tourists hang out. They know that the tourists are trying to find them, and
Yeah.
so they pass by like the small alleyways and the back entrances. Like, if they don't want you to see them,
You probably
like
won't.
you probably won't, or you're gonna have a hard time. Like,
I think we did see, though, in Gyeon, we did see a Maiko, which is a geisha in training.
yeah,
But a geisha, we only saw one, like I said, for
a
like,
glimpse of her
you got
running.
an amazing picture of it, though, in that split second from the back. But so good.
And like, one thing you also have to consider if you go to Kyoto, even more than Tokyo, I feel, is there are tourists
Oh,
everywhere. Oh my god.
I think also because the touristic areas are so much smaller and
Smaller, yeah.
concentrated, all the tourists are going to
or
be
like,
there.
oh, you can't walk anywhere without that. And I think it's even worse now, a few years later, because like the number of tourists in Japan grows up every year.
Right.
And so like Kyoto, everywhere you go there. And like, it's not a slight against tourists, we were tourists there too.
Yeah, right.
We were there to enjoy it. But I'm just saying, if that's something that turns you off, be ready.
Right.
Be ready.
Be prepared. But
the-
I would say that it's worth it, even if like great number of tourists bother you, for the kind of things that you can see and experience in Kyoto.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It's worth it. For me, it would totally be worth it.
And they make it easy for you to see all the attractions. You can easily take the bus to any of the temple and shrine. That's what we did when we weren't walking. And so, like, it's not difficult for tourists to enjoy the city.
Exactly, that's true.
Any final thoughts or advice for people who want to go to Kyoto?
So that's something that we actually didn't really do much. I think also because 3 days is really not that much time, and we did want to see those like main temples and main places. But one thing that I would do next time, and that maybe I would advise anyone who goes there to do try to look up some like more side alleys type of attractions, like the small temples. Or what I would be interested in to see next time, I know there are a lot of like traditional shops. Like you can see a shop where they make or they paint kimonos, or where they make like traditional objects like tea sets and stuff like this. I know that you can find a lot of them there, and you can see the stores, but we didn't really.
We went to a shopping street with one of my friends, but it was a very touristy one.
Yeah, it was also very touristy. So what I would advise you, like anyone who goes there, to do, try to look for these kind of things. I know they are there. I do want to see them next time we go there, because we have to go back. But yeah, that would be my advice.
Yeah, I'd say look it up beforehand, because there are so many shrines and temples there. You can't see them all. We were there for 3 days, 3 nights, and we didn't see everything. So you have to look up and make a choice of like, what do I really want to see?
Right.
Like, we didn't even mention it, but there was this beautiful was it a shrine or a temple? I don't remember, but with all the statues inside.
Oh yes,
the golden statues. That was great, and that's something that I would recommend people to go see.
A little bit outside the city.
Yeah.
You have to. It's a bus ride there.
Yeah, you have to take a bus.
Right.
But like, that might be one of the things you want to see. Maybe you want to see
Kinkakuji. With 1,000 statues.
Yeah.
But it's also pretty famous. There was a temple right near Gion district that I really don't remember the name, and I don't remember it being, that like pushed as a touristic place,
attraction.
But it was so beautiful.
Yeah. And of course, if you're there for Gion Matsuri, that might be a plus.
That might be a plus. We didn't get to see that.
But yeah, our time in Kyoto was great. I hope you guys have a great time in Tokyo if you go there, whether it's to live there or as a trip. If you've been there, or if you plan on going there, again, let us know in the comment. What did you like there, or what would you like to do there? And
I would have one more thing to add. If you are from Kyoto, or you've lived there long enough that you know the city well enough, do leave down some like tips for the people who might want to go. Like, we would like to go back, and maybe other people watching this would want to go see that. So please feel free to leave down any hints of and like tips of what people should not miss if they go to Kyoto.
Yeah, and hope this was helpful, and have a nice day.